Ever get bored playing your PS5? Because after this video, you'll want to grab your controller and play all night. Seriously, here are 20 of the best rated games you can't stop playing.
Festival!
Final Fantasy XVI throws you into the world of Valisthea, a land powered by these massive mother crystals. The story mainly follows Clive Rosfield, a warrior whose life gets turned upside down after his younger brother Joshua, who happens to be a dominant of Phoenix, is taken from him in a brutal twist. From there, it's less about saving the world right away, and more about Clive's personal journey of revenge, redemption, and, uncovering the truth behind the fate of his world. This is probably the most action-heavy Final Fantasy to date. Instead of the old turn-based system, it leans fully into real-time combat. You've got flashy icon abilities, combos that feel closer to Devil May Cry than classic FF, and massive cinematic boss fights that almost play out like interactive cutscenes. It's stylish, fast, and honestly feels like Square Enix wanted to modernize the formula big time. Visually, the game is stunning. Dark medieval fantasy mixed with cinematic flair. The soundtrack by Masayoshi Soken also hits hard, especially in the big icon battles. It feels less like a JRPG and more like a grand action drama.
Must move now. There will be losses, it is true. Yet for every citizen who falls, another can be bred. For every home that burns, another can be built. The Empire will live on.
Horizon Forbidden West. It kind of just throws you into this massive open-world frontier where Aloy isn't only hunting machines. She's like diving, climbing, gliding her way across these crazy environments. You've got lush forests, sunken cities, snowy peaks, even, scorching deserts. And with the grappling hook, the glider, plus full-on underwater exploration, it feels way more open than the first game. It's set about 6 months after Zero Dawn. Earth's falling apart, right? And Aloy heads west, looking for a backup of Gaia. Along the way, she bumps into these super different tribes, this dangerous blight that's spreading, and brand new threats, the immortal Zenith colonists and, the mysterious clone Beta. And honestly, it's not just some narrative fluff. Guerrilla Games, the same folks behind Horizon Zero Dawn and, Killzone, crafted this whole thing. The world building's tight, it's grounded, and the universe feels earned. Visually, man, it's stunning. On the PS5 Pro, people even say it's maybe the best image quality ever on a console. The lighting, the facial animations, the machine designs, they all come together like a cinematic spectacle. And the soundtrack, it's layered, organic, tribal, but still cinematic. It Takes Two feels like you just stumbled into a Pixar movie. Bright colors, imaginative environments, and surreal set pieces that are constantly flipping expectations. We're talking colossal vacuum cleaners gone wild, musical levels that could double as stage productions, entire worlds made of garden hoses, and even squirrel armies to wage war with. It's a wild ride of ever-changing aesthetics that keeps things fresh and, honestly, downright delightful. You play as Cody and May, a married couple turned into dolls by their daughter's magic. They're on the brink of divorce, and they're literally forced to confront their relationship one surreal level at a time, guided by the flamboyant love guru Dr. Hakim. As they work together through the story's metaphorical challenges, they inch toward understanding, collaboration, and healing. Now, gameplay is where it all comes alive. Every level introduces new mechanics. Cody throws magic nails that recall themselves. May wields a hammer to swing across gaps. Later, they're cloning copies, rewinding time, racing, and even battling in mini third-person shooter segments. It's pure co-op fusion. Platforming, puzzles, racing, rhythm, boss fights, you name it, they nailed it.
Dr. Hakim, they have to stay together.
Gotta work overtime.
You can't just give up. I wish you could be friends again.
Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth doesn't just continue the Yakuza saga. For the first time, the series takes a big leap outside Japan, throwing Ichiban and Kiryu straight into Hawaii. That change of setting shifts the whole vibe. Sun-soaked beaches, neon-lit nightlife, and street corners where a fistfight can break out next to a surf shop. The mix of Japanese crime drama and tropical chaos feels oddly perfect. The combat sticks to the RPG style that Ichiban brought in Yakuza Like a Dragon, but here it's even flashier. You've still got turn-based battles, but with way more freedom and movement, tag team attacks, and just ridiculous summons. What's cool is how it balances tone. Ichiban is still that big-hearted, slightly clueless optimist, while Kiryu brings this heavy, almost bittersweet energy as he confronts his own past. Playing both storylines side by side gives you two very different perspectives. And yeah, the side content is as unhinged as ever. Dating apps, tourist traps, wacky minigames, and odd jobs that somehow feel as addictive as the main quest. Infinite Wealth proves the series can take a wild gamble. New country, new systems, new tone, and still land with style. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach drops you back into Sam Porter Bridges' world. This time in wide-open wastelands across Mexico and Australia, 11 months after the first one. You're still delivering, but now you can actually build monorails, use customizable vehicles with turrets and extra batteries, and face brutal sandstorms and earthquakes that scramble your routes. And yeah, it feels emotional too. You've got old faces like Fragile and Higgs returning, plus new ones like Neil and Lucy, played by Troy Baker and Elle Fanning, who immediately bring, this fragile connection that Sam leans into. It's part road trip, part existential breakdown. Behind the game, you've got Kojima Productions, with Hideo Kojima writing, directing, and shaping everything. Yoji Shinkawa's designs and that haunting music by Woodkid and Ludwig Forssell push the atmosphere even further. Visually, it's stunning. Dynamic day-night shifts, abstract symbols etched into landscapes, and more environmental danger than ever. And the whole social strand system is back online, letting your world overlap with others. So roads you build or bridges you leave can actually help someone else, without even online interaction. Gameplay here is pure survival horror with a Remedy twist. It's slower, more deliberate, none of that run-and-gun nonsense. You're creeping, conserving light, and rationing every battery. Flashlight is your best friend. You gotta burn away shadowy Taken enemies before your guns actually work on them. FBI agent Saga Anderson is investigating ritualistic murders in Bright Falls. Meanwhile, Alan Wake is trapped in this nightmarish dimension called the Dark Place, writing his way out while unraveling deeper nightmares tied to reality itself. This immersive experience comes from Remedy Entertainment, finally moving into survival horror full force. They leaned on their rich storytelling from Control and Quantum Break, but took leaps here. 2 parallel storylines, cinematic live-action elements, and a horror universe where your own writing shapes reality. Presentationally, it's stunning. Tight over-the-shoulder shots, dynamic environments that shift around you, and a soundtrack that creeps under your skin. And yeah, the BAFTA win for audio achievement wasn't just for show. The Last of Us Part 2 feels like a masterpiece. It's like walking through a real post-apocalyptic world. Dusty Seattle streets, overgrown ruins, broken storefronts, and flickering neon. The attention to detail, Ellie's dirt-smeared face, subtle weathered textures, soft lighting, turns the setting into its own character. Underneath that gorgeous exterior lies gameplay that's tense, brutal. It's survival action with weight. Ellie moves with quiet agility, crouching, crawling through grass, setting up silencers and timing that perfect stealth takedown. But slip up, and you're thrown into intense, messy fights where every bullet matters. Story-wise, it's raw. Ellie goes on a revenge trip against a cult after a devastating tragedy. You also play as Abby, seeing the same violence from the other side. It's a yin-yang of emotion. Hate pushes one story forward, empathy pulls the other deeper. Behind it all is Naughty Dog, the storytellers who gave us the original The Last of Us. With Neil Druckmann and Hallie Gross writing and over 2,100 devs working for 5 years, the result feels both painfully crafted.
Got her! Come out and fight!
Marvel's Spider-Man 2 continues Peter Parker and Miles Morales' saga across a dramatically expanded Marvel's New York. Gameplay-wise, this one levels up the Spider-Man formula. You can switch dynamically between Peter and Miles, each with distinct skill trees and signature auras. Peter channeling symbiote powers, Miles cracking shock charges. Traversal gets a serious upgrade with web wings, wind tunnels, and dynamic wall running that make you feel like you're actually flying through the city. Combat mixes fast combos, gadgets like Web Grabber and Web Line, and tougher boss battles that reward smart moves and timing. Now for the story. New York's under threat from Kraven the Hunter, who's turned the city into his hunting ground, and the symbiote menace Venom starts influencing Peter in darker ways. There's emotional weight here. Friendship, temptation, and the struggle to stay heroic even when the darkness creeps in. Every borough, Brooklyn, Queens, the iconic skyline, feels alive. The enemies, lighting, suit animations, all that PS5 polish is real. And yeah, the soundtrack and voice performances keep every swing, every shift, every emotional beat grounded in superhero energy.
You want to join us?
He's here.
Walk down the whole building!
I know I can snap him out of this!
We can fight this together!
In Split Fiction, you're dropped into the lives of Mio and Zoe, two writers who basically screw up an experiment and end up stuck inside a simulation built from their own stories. And yeah, that's where things get messy. One second you've got dragons flying overhead, the next you're dodging hover cars thrown by some robotic parking attendant. It's all over the place, in the best way possible. Now, gameplay here, it's all about co-op. But not, 4-player chaos. This one's built strictly for 2. You and your partner gotta sync up through platforming, puzzles, stealth, and some pretty ridiculous action set pieces. The team behind it is Hazelight Studios, led by Joseph Fares. If you've played It Takes Two or A Way Out, you kinda know the vibe. Emotional, funny, and a little bit unhinged. Split Fiction just cranks all of that up. And visually, man, it's wild. Super fluid animation, worlds that shift styles like a fever dream, and this handcrafted feel that makes each stage pop. It's playful, unpredictable, and honestly, best enjoyed with someone sitting right next to you.
You have unpaid parking tickets. Time to die.
Excuse me? Run!
Forza Horizon 5 comes from Playground Games, and yeah, it's probably the most ambitious entry in the series so far. Set in a massive open-world version of Mexico, the game throws you into deserts, jungles, volcano slopes, and even quiet little towns, all packed into one seamless map. Gameplay-wise, it's still that signature mix of arcade fun and just enough realism to keep car nerds happy. The driving feels smooth, the weather system is dynamic, sandstorms, tropical storms, blazing sun, and honestly, it makes every race unpredictable. Story isn't really the focus here, but the Horizon Festival vibe is bigger than ever. You're essentially the star of this giant car carnival, unlocking showcases, racing planes, doing stunt events, and even building your own races. It's got a ridiculous amount of cars, hundreds of them, spanning classics, exotics, and off-road beasts. And what really makes it stand out is the social aspect. You're not just racing AI. The world is filled with other players, ghost rivals, and live events. It feels alive, like a real shared playground where you never quite run out of things to do.
Like the first time.
If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. What game do you think deserves the top spot? I'll be replying to every comment. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is where the remake project truly blows wide open. The story picks up after Cloud and his crew leave Midgar, and suddenly you're not boxed in anymore. You're exploring vast regions filled with forests, cliffs, towns, and, of course, plenty of chocobos to ride. Combat feels sharper and more fluid, keeping the real-time action tactical command hybrid, but making character switching seamless. Cloud delivers heavy melee, Tifa dazzles with speed, Aerith controls the field with magic, Barrett lays down firepower, and Red 13 and Yuffie bring their own unique styles. Team synergy attacks push you to think strategically instead of just button mashing. What's most impressive is scale. A relatively short segment from the original has been expanded into a 50-hour journey that never feels like filler, packed with character arcs, world building, and cinematic set pieces that really showcase the PS5's hardware. Released on PS5 in February 2024 and later on PC in early 2025, Rebirth was hailed as one of the generation's best RPGs, a must-play for anyone with a PS5. Clair Obscure. Expedition 33 is already turning heads as one of the standout RPGs on PS5. The combat is the first thing that grabs you. It's turn-based at its core, but far from passive. You're dodging, parrying, and timing button presses in real time, which makes every encounter feel tense and interactive. It carries the structure of classic JRPGs, but with a modern twist that feels sharper and far more engaging. The story is set in a Belle Epoque-inspired world, where the Paintress awakens each year to erase anyone who has reached a certain age. You take on the role of a member of Expedition 33, a group determined to break that cycle and stand against fate. It's dramatic, emotional, and a refreshing departure from most RPG narratives. Visually, the game is striking. The environments look like a living painting, with lighting, color, and animation working together to create a polished, vibrant world. Reception has matched that ambition. More than 3 million copies sold in the first month, a celebrated soundtrack release, and even praise from Hideo Kojima himself. Clair Obscure, Expedition 33 launched on April 24th, 2025 exclusively for PlayStation 5. Resident Evil 4 Remake dropped in March 2023, and honestly, it redefined what a modern remake can be on PS5. Capcom didn't just slap on prettier textures. They rebuilt the entire game in the RE engine. The lighting, the atmosphere, the tone, it's way darker, heavier, and more cinematic. You still get the iconic village, the creepy cult, and those wild boss fights. But everything feels fresh while staying true to what made the original legendary. Combat's tighter too. Leon can parry now, even a chainsaw. And that single mechanic shifts the entire rhythm of encounters. Enemies are smarter, more aggressive, and the tension doesn't let up, even if you know the original by heart. The reception? Massive. Over 7 million copies sold, multiple Game of the Year nods, and the PS5 version in particular is smooth, immersive, and a perfect showcase of the hardware, especially with adaptive triggers adding weight to every shot. Nearly 20 years later, Resident Evil 4 is still proving why it's survival horror royalty, and on PS5, it's never looked or felt this good.
The time has come. Like I told you. I'm gonna get you home safe. Ready to die, Boogie. Exalt all!
Leon!
And let it be so!
Demon's Souls Remake was actually the very first big showcase for the PlayStation 5 when it launched in 2020, and it still holds up as one of the best exclusives on the system. Bluepoint Games rebuilt the 2009 classic from the ground up, and the difference is staggering. The visuals are incredibly sharp, lighting, particle effects, even the way armor shines under torchlight. It all makes Boletaria feel alive in a way the original couldn't. But they didn't mess with the core. The combat, the level design, the brutal difficulty, that's all intact, just polished for a new era. The DualSense controller really changes how you feel the game, too. Every swing of the sword, every blocked attack, even the tension of a bowstring, you get that feedback in your hands. It makes the punishment and the victories hit harder. And yeah, this is the game that basically reminded everyone why the Souls-like formula became such a phenomenon in the first place. Without Demon's Souls, there wouldn't be Dark Souls, Elden Ring, any of that. The remake is both a history lesson and a modern benchmark at the same time. On PS5, it's not just nostalgia, it's one of the most polished and demanding action RPGs you can play right now. Metaphor. ReFantazio isn't just another JRPG. It feels like Atlas taking the genre into new territory. Built by the team behind Persona, the game places you in a high fantasy kingdom marked by political unrest, prejudice, and deeply personal conflicts. You step into the role of Will, an orphan living on the margins, who enters a royal tournament in hopes of breaking a deadly curse. At his side is Gallica, a fairy guide who becomes far more important than she first appears. The combat is a real standout. It combines turn-based strategy with real-time decision-making, so you're not just scrolling through menus, you're weighing options quickly and reacting in the moment. On top of that, the archetype system lets you build your party in multiple ways, creating fresh dynamics each time you play. Visually, the game delivers. Its hand-painted look is immediately recognizable, and the music, composed by Shoji Meguro, lands with force. Reviewers have praised how it balances heavy subject matter with a world that still feels vivid and full of wonder. Metaphor. ReFantazio launched on October 11, 2024, and is available on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, S, and PC.
Attack in any number.
God of War Ragnarok takes everything that made the 2018 reboot stand out and expands it in every direction. The story dives straight into the turmoil of Norse mythology's end times. Kratos is older, burdened by the weight of his past, while Atreus is coming into his own, torn between prophecy, choice, and what it truly means to be a god. Their relationship forms the core of the game, tense, emotional, and constantly evolving as the world around them falls apart. Combat is sharper, heavier, and more dynamic than before. The Leviathan Axe and Blades of Chaos return, but with added layers, new combos, elemental abilities, and versatile shields that shift how you approach encounters. Enemies are more aggressive, and boss battles stand out as massive cinematic clashes that feel pulled straight from myth. The journey isn't defined by combat alone. The 9 realms open up with greater depth, filled with puzzles, side quests, and hidden stories that add richness to the world. Along the way, you'll encounter new gods, unexpected allies, and a few surprising faces. What makes Ragnarok special is how it balances epic spectacle with quieter, emotional moments that carry just as much impact.
Are you coming with us?
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition remains one of the most ambitious RPGs ever made, and on PS5, it feels fresher than ever. This isn't a simple re-release. The upgrade brings higher resolution textures, ray tracing, faster load times, and several quality-of-life improvements that make the entire adventure feel modern. You return as Geralt of Rivia, the weary monster hunter searching for his adopted daughter Ciri, while pursued by the menacing Wild Hunt. The scale of the world is still staggering, but what makes it unforgettable is how alive it feels. Villages, swamps, and ruined castles aren't just set dressing. They each carry their own stories, choices, and consequences, many of them leaving a lasting mark. The complete edition packs in every piece of content, including Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. The latter alone could pass as a full standalone game, with the vibrant region of Toussaint offering one of the series' most striking settings. The writing throughout is razor-sharp, with side quests that often rival or surpass the main narratives of other RPGs. On PS5, the combat runs smoother, the world looks more immersive, and new camera options, alongside features inspired by fan mods, make this the definitive way to experience The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition released on December 14, 2022, and is available on PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC.
Geralt, this is my story. Let me finish telling it.
Astro Bot turned out to be one of the biggest surprises on PS5 in 2024. What began as a small showcase with Astro's Playroom has grown into a full-fledged 3D platformer. And it feels like Sony's strongest answer to Mario yet. The game overflows with color, personality, and clever ideas. Every stage introduces something fresh, whether it's inventive level design, playful mechanics, or fun little nods to PlayStation's history. One of its standout features is how it makes use of the DualSense controller. Adaptive triggers, haptic feedback, and even the built-in speaker all come together in ways that aren't just novelty. They genuinely enhance the gameplay and make the world feel tactile. The variety is also striking. You're not only running and jumping. One level might have you blasting through the air with a jetpack, the next swimming through vivid underwater stages, and then scaling walls with magnetic boots. That constant shift keeps the game surprising from start to finish. Visually, it's a treat too. Bright, smooth, and polished in a way that just radiates joy. At its core, Astro Bot shows why platformers still matter. It looks simple on the surface, but every level is packed with care, detail, and a real sense of heart. Astro Bot released on September 6, 2024, exclusively for PlayStation 5. Baldur's Gate 3 feels like a once-in-a-generation RPG. Built firmly on the rules of Dungeons & Dragons, it gives you an extraordinary level of freedom. Every decision carries weight, whether it's how you speak to someone, how you handle combat, or even a single line of dialogue that can alter the course of your story. The detail is remarkable. Companions aren't just side characters, they have layered backstories, strong personalities, and excellent voice performances that bring them to life. It's the kind of game where a single quest can stretch for hours simply because you want to test every option and see how events unfold. Combat is turn-based and highly tactical, encouraging creativity. Positioning, spell choices, and clever use of the environment make every encounter feel unique. On PS5, the game runs smoothly and looks stunning. The cinematic presentation combined with classic CRPG depth makes it one of the most ambitious and impressive console RPGs in years. Baldur's Gate 3 released on September 6, 2023 for PlayStation 5.
Bow before me. Bow before the absolute. Bow!
Elden Ring is one of those games that just completely shifts the standard for open-world RPGs. From Software brought their signature style of tough, methodical combat, but placed it inside this seamless, sprawling world called The Lands Between. The real hook is exploration. Nothing is marked out for you. Every cliff, every ruin, every shadowed forest feels like it might hide a secret boss, a hidden dungeon, or just a strange piece of lore. And when you run into those massive bosses, the fights are brutal but also unforgettable, pushing you to adapt and really earn each victory. George R.R. Martin's influence on the world building gives the whole thing an extra layer of myth, making the story feel ancient and heavy, even when you're only getting fragments of it. On PS5, The atmosphere is incredible, from golden fields at sunrise to dark storms rolling over castles. Elden Ring released on February 25, 2022 for PlayStation 5.
Of the Lord. And once all is done, we shall see each other once more.
And that's it for our look at the best PS5 games so far. From ambitious new releases to standout remakes, the console already has a lineup full of essential experiences. Midnight Out,